Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here. So today I wanted to bring you a new deck to the channel. That's the Fallen of Albaz deck. And actually this version here is going to be a combination of the Shaddoll structure deck and the Albaz structure deck. Plus one card that is $2, and that is Shaddoll Schism. So yeah, get those two structure decks. You don't need any other cards for the extra deck. No other cards for the main deck other than, like I said, the Shaddolls Schism, which is $2, I think, at the most. Check TCG Player. I have a link in the description. And then, honestly, for like the Shaddol cards, you're probably better off if you don't have the structure decks already to just buy them as singles because they're going to be very cheap that way as well. Probably cheaper than the $30 or however much the structure decks are now. But yeah, so this is a very budget deck. That I feel two completely different decks that blend very well together, mostly because they both fusion summon, but there's a lot of other really cool interactions between these two decks. So yeah, let's get right into it. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss any upcoming decks. I do have a lot of variations using the Albaz and branded new structure deck cards. So yeah, start off with our cards from like the Albaz structure deck. Using 3 Fallen of Albaz and 1 Albion. So in this version, we're maxing out on Fallen of Albaz. It's of course amazing going second, but then you're also fine seeing it in your hand because of all the different fusion spells that we play. You'll be able to use this 90% of the time. Then Albion is a good summon for the board. And then when it's on the border in the graveyard, it's treated as Fallen of Albaz. So again, just allows you to fusion summon. And Fallen of Albaz is actually really good. It's basically super poly, and you have to discard a card. So with your Shaddoll cards, you'll sometimes get off multiple effects. It's really, really good. So I'm maxing out on that. And we're playing 3 Spriggans kit. Now the reason we're maxing out on this is because it gets us to our branded fusion, which is kind of the best card, probably the best card in this deck. It's amazing. Allows you to fuse with the cards from the deck, and allows you to send cards, Shaddoll cards plus your Fallen of Albaz. So when this is normal or special summoned, you can add basically a branded fusion, and then you place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So it'll free up some space, or free up cards, put them back into the deck that you can then use branded fusion to then send. So that's kind of cool. But then also, if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz on the field or in the graveyard, this is just a free special summon. And then obviously you get that search as well. So that's why we're maxing out on that. We're just playing 2 Keeper of Dragon Magic. It's yet another way of getting us to our branded fusion. It allows you to, when it's normal or special summon, discard a card and then add a fusion normal spell from your deck to your hand. Since we're playing Shaddolls, it also allows you to search out Shaddoll fusion. So that's kind of a cool interaction. But then it also, you can reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, special summon 1 of the fusion materials from your graveyard in face down defense position. So this is potentially one if you wanted to bump it up to 3, because that can come up. It doesn't come up too much, but like with your Shaddoll cards, like with your Fallen of Albaz, it allows you to flip them face down. Just get a free monster on board basically. And then of course search. And then for our spells, we're playing the 3 branded fusion, which allows you to fuse with 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field. And then you can't special summon except for fusion monsters, that's all we play, so that's just fine. And then we play 2 branded Lost, because this protects all of our fusion summons. They cannot be negated, and then they cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. So this protects not only your branded fusion, but also all of your Shaddoll fusion effects. So that's very, very good. And that is all we're playing for the branded or Albaz stuff. Now for the Shaddolls, These are all, again, from the Shaddoll structure deck. 2 Wendy, 2 Squamata, 1 Aerial, 1 Beast, 1 Dragon, and 1 Hedgehog. So if I had access in this deck, we're just using kind of the structure decks, like I said. But if you have access to cards like Almirage, to get like Hedgehog to the grave or whatever, it might be a good idea to bump this up because it, of course, searches you out your Shaddoll monsters that you can then fuse with. But in this case, just playing the one, that's, I feel, all we need. But yeah, just kind of standard ratio there. 3 Shaddol Fusion, of course. And then we're also playing 3 L Shaddol Fusion because we do have a pretty decent amount of Shaddol monsters. So this comes up quite often. And then, of course, the Shaddol Schism, which is the only card you'll need to get other than the cards in the 2 structure decks. And that is it for the Shaddol stuff and the branded stuff. And then for kind of the generic stuff, 3 Super Poly, which comes in the Shaddol structure deck. Really, really good. Foolish Burial, Called by the Grave. One of these in each of the structure decks. And then for hand traps, we're playing 3 Ghost Ogre and 3 Effect Failure, which are in the Fallen of Albaz structure deck, to make our deck an even 40. And then for the extra deck, we are playing 2 Lubellion. This one allows you, so it's kind of like a Super Poly target. Of course, you use it with your Fallen of Albaz, your branded fusion. You have a lot of ways to get into this. It just requires a dark monster and Fallen of Albaz. That allows you to fuse by shuffling fusion materials on it into the deck from your field, graveyard, or face up in your banished. So this is usually one of your later summons. Albion is actually one of your first summons, generally. It just requires Fallen of Albaz and a light monster. So they're both very easy to get into. If this is fusion summon, you'll be fusion summoning a level 8 or lower from your extra deck by banishing materials from your hand, field, or graveyard. And then 2 Mirror Jade. These are all from the Albaz structure deck. This just requires Fallen of Albaz and then a fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link monster. So again, you have a lot of options to go into this. And this is a really good kind of interruption on your opponent's turn. Allows you to just send a fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard that mentions Fallen of Albaz, and then banish 1 monster on the field. And then we play 1 Springed, 1 Brygrand, 1 Titanclad to round out kind of the Fallen of Albaz stuff. These are actually really good Super Poly targets to use like your opponent's effect monster special summon this turn, level 8 or higher monster, or 1 monster with 2,500 or more attack. But they also, this one you're of course going to be sending off of Mirror Jade. Really nice to then get a free special summon or add a Fallen of Albaz from your deck to your hand. So really good. And then for the Shaddol stuff, playing 2 App Cologne, just requires 2 Shaddol monsters with different attributes. When it's special summoned, you'll be able to target a face-up card in the field and negate its effects. And then, of course, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add any Shaddol card from your deck to your hand and then discard 1 card. So very, very good. And we play 2 Construct and 2 Winda. That's all you need to play in this deck. It's very strong. There's a lot of really powerful, like I said, interactions with this because you're discarding. So naturally you'll be able to get off some of your Shaddol effects. And then just having access to Super Poly, Shaddol Fusion, and Branded Fusion, you're always going to be having some type of powerful fusion monster on the field. I think it's really good, really nice with the inclusion of these hand traps, and the fact that they're light allows you to just go into some like Albion and your Construct very easily. And then obviously they're also just really good hand traps. So yeah, hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're playing these decks. You know, the branded stuff or the Shaddoll. Maybe you have the kind of the same idea as me. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.